It's literally like the wild, wild Delhi. In the past few weeks, things have been intensifying from protests to then violence, and now brazen instances of sloganeering, of shooting the gun in broad daylight. 5 days ahead of election, it seems like there's a free run for thugs and firebrand hate speeches, all kinds of possible campaigns, countercharges and charges, and of course, those goons who are literally roaming on the streets, brandishing a gun, open firing in the air and then pointing at people. Tonight on the Urban Debate, we will get you a 360-degree focus on Delhi. Our first focus is the unacceptable police failure in the national capital. In the past 7 days, there have been 4 incidents, if you count also the alleged incident of firing at Jamia yesterday. As politicians cutting across party lines now resort to the very common tool of divisive politics and polarization, we will first talk about what it is that the Delhi police is doing. Completely caught napping or maybe intentionally doing so. But remember, in Jamia University, how they stormed into the campus claiming that they were anti-social elements, and then they entered hostels and libraries. Then came through what happened in JNU, when mass miscreants were unleashing violence and brutality. The police are simply standing outside. They knew what was going on. They chose not to enter the campus, very different from what happened in Jamia just a few days ago. After that came the incidents of firing that have been taking place. There was one open fire near the Jamia protest site, where a man also got injured. Then came the issue of another one opening fire in the air. And in both these instances, viewers, you will know there have been many eyewitnesses and visuals that show how police did not act on time, how they simply stood by as mute spectators. And now there is another incident currently under investigation where the police is saying perhaps there was no firing. We haven't found any bullet shells yet. Investigation, though, continues. Now, outside of this, of course, the Prime Minister today spoke about the law and order in the national capital. But his message was very different. His message was more to the Shaheen Bagh protesters, who said that Shaheen Bagh protests are continuing despite a court order that these people hold a constitution in their hand, a copy of the constitution, while they defy the court orders. Effectively, Prime Minister saying that the Shaheen Bagh protests are motivated.
हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च अदालत की भावना यही रही है कि विरोध प्रदर्शनों से सामान्य मानवी को दिक्कत न हो। प्रदर्शनों के दौरान हुई हिंसा, तोड़फोड़, आगजनी पर हमेशा सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट ने अपनी नाराजगी जताई है। लेकिन ये लोग अदालतों की परवाह नहीं करते हैं, ये कोर्ट की बात ही नहीं मानते और बातें करते हैं संविधान की।
Let's go across to Alok, who's joining us now from Jamia, where the latest alleged incident seems to have happened. Alok, in fact, has even accessed the CCTV footage for us, which is currently under investigation by the Delhi police. Alok, through the day, you've spoken to many eyewitnesses who insist that, yes, there were a couple of men on a bike who shot and ran away. What's the update as far as the investigation is concerned?
Well, Tanvi, first of all, I would like to show you the place where right now I'm standing. This is the same place where the shooting incident had happened. This is gate number 7, where this protest is going on. And just next to that, there is another lane where the people, in fact, those 2 persons who came allegedly on bike and they allegedly opened fire. There you can see on our CCTV that we accessed, that also showed this pillar. There you can see this is the pillar which behind that those persons could be seen. And when they went towards the gate number 5, they opened fire. Those persons who are standing right now here, over here, the same way that those persons were standing yesterday also around 11:30 p.m. and when the firing started, they immediately went towards that location where the firing had happened, and then they in fact tried to chase also, but they got vanished. But as far as the investigation is concerned, police has in fact recovered some CCTV footages, and they are trying to piece together all those CCTVs which they have recovered. They have only one thing that which they can say, that is the forensic evidences and technical evidences, that is the CCTV footages. But apart from that, there is only the statements of various people who in fact witnessed the whole incident. Earlier there was some people in fact claimed that the people who opened fire, they came on the scooty, but later we found out that on the basis of the FIR is registered, the complainant had said the person came on the motorcycle, and in fact the CCTV we got at, it also shows that the person came on the motorcycle. So different versions of the people, those who in fact witnessed the whole incident. But as far as the police is concerned, police also says that they haven't found any bullet shell, that we call it, at the empty cartridge from the spot. So that is also one question that police is in fact asking from the people. But police says on the basis of statements of various people, they have registered the case around 2 a.m. yesterday. In fact, today 2 a.m. the FIR was registered, when large number of people, in fact, showing anger against the police, when reached to the police station, and then only police registered the FIR. As of now, if we say that police investigation where it has reached, they only collected the statements of the people, but they are still not able to find out the person who opened fire. Back to you.
So, Alok, you access a set of CCTV visuals, when you're standing at the location very close to what is caught even on that CCTV. Outside of that, is there no other visual, no other evidence that actually catches the incident of firing?
Well, Tanvi, if we talk about, there are several gates. There you can see this is gate number 8. As I told you that at this road, both the sides the university campus is located. So various gates, that gate number 8 is there. On my left hand side, the gate number 6 is there. On my right hand side, that the gate number 6 and 5 is there. And later after that, the 4, 3, 2. And it coincides towards both the sides. There are various gates of various departments of the universities and the colleges, other places of the campus. So there are on the gates of on various gates, there are CCTVs are installed. But the unfortunate part of this whole incident that yesterday happened on the gate number 5, we are talking about the stretch between the gate number 7 and gate number 5 where the firing incident happened. But the CCTV camera that is installed on the gate number 5, it was not working properly. That the police has told us that it was not found out properly working. In fact, if the camera was working properly, they would have got more clear visual of that person who had opened fire. But it is unfortunate that it was not working properly. But police is still trying various locations, the CCTV footages, so that they could scan and they could piece together how these persons came and how they managed to open fire and what all had happened yesterday around 11:30 p.m. Back to you.
All right, Alok, thanks so much for bringing us, that update. And he's been reporting through the day for us from Jamia over this incident. Let's say good evening to our panelists who are joining us right now. Anila Singh, National Spokesperson for the BJP, Ravi Srivastava, Political Analyst, T.R. Kakkar, former Commissioner of Police for Delhi, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, journalist, and Swaranjit Singh, former DGP of Andhra Pradesh, Deepak Bajpai, spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party. If I can go across to Mr. T.R. Kakkar first and ask him for his view. Mr. Kakkar, around Republic Day and around elections, one would think that the police is even more alert, cracking down on antisocial elements and lumpen elements. And how is it that we are looking at a possible 4th incident in just 2 weeks where people are easily roaming around with a gun and firing it?
Now, the incident that you're talking about of today, it is an alleged one. On the report, the police have registered an FIR and they are investigating it. Unless you find something solid evidence, something corroborating the people standing around and making allegations, one cannot say what exactly may have happened. It is quite likely that this is just a propaganda by certain interested people. It is quite likely that something did take place but has left no evidence. Only the investigation will show. It is not correct to draw conclusions that yet another firing has taken place. And let me tell you, in a surcharged atmosphere of this kind, which is motivated violence by certain groups for a number, there you testing the patience of people. And once this takes place, there is bound to be some sort of fallout of all this. And this does take place. Otherwise, things have been managed very well so far, despite all the provocation being given to the police. They have
Mr.
managed
Kakkad,
it. They are trying to do whatever
if I may
is
just
possible
clarify,
to contain.
If I may just clarify, Mr. Kakkad, we are not saying that there was for sure a fourth incident. I very specifically said that this is an allegation that is under investigation. We've also shown the CCTV footage that the police is investigating, and then, like you pointed out, there is an FIR. But let me, no, Mr. Kakkad, you're not getting my point. And I'm sorry, I disagree with you when you say there have been provocations and people are bound to lose their patience. Mr. Kakkad, people can also be bound to lose their patience over bad governance, over misgovernance. That doesn't mean that we start justifying people resorting to picking up guns and roaming around on roads, shooting people. No, people can run out of patience. People can be provoked for many reasons, sir. For many reasons, including the incapabilities of a police or incapabilities of any government. That doesn't mean that you and I should sit here and justify in any possible manner people picking up the gun. Now, what it sounds like is that you, sir, are justifying
all the allegations that you are making against the police, all the allegations that you are making against the police, I don't believe. The police in Delhi has been managing the affairs despite all the provocations fairly well. And you think these incidents are taking place in Connaught Place or in Rajpath or some other place? Here there is a surcharged atmosphere. Somebody is responsible for it. Now those who are responsible must also be held responsible for similar incidents. You can't keep on blaming the police. You stand there for 50 days, day and night, and let's see what is the output. Stand there.
It's their job.
How much load is there on the police? Day in and day out, they are there.
Then let's call for special forces.
Day in and day out, they are there.
Mr. Swaranjit saying, if the police is tired and exhausted because for day in, day out, 1 minute, sir.
You have theories.
I don't have theories. I can see it on visuals where Delhi police is standing by and a man is walking around with a gun, sloganeering.
Do not manage.
I don't have theories, sir. This is on camera. This is on camera that the police is standing by while violence is unfolding. It is on camera that in JNU, police were standing outside. They were getting calls and they did not go inside. It is on camera that the police promised us that they will catch the hooligans of JNU. They have not managed to. It is on camera that police told us. Now, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. I will give you evidence. I don't do rhetorical debates. I don't do speculative debates. I will give you evidence of why we should ask and you should ask questions of Delhi police.
Because when they went in at Jamia, you blame them. When they went in, you blame them. That is why they are being cautious there. And look, when they are cautious, what happens?
They are so cautious that in this video, they are so cautious. 1 minute, Mr. Kakkad. May I just speak?
Pick up some other department.
They are allowing the goons to go out.
They are so cautious that on January 30th, on Martyrs' Day, they stood by as a goon roamed on the streets 50 meters away from them, brandishing a gun and sloganeering. The two journalists standing there were yelling out to the cops. All of this is caught on camera. Were yelling out to the police, he has a gun. He has a gun. Move in, do something. And they didn't. Now, I am presenting facts here. Mr. Swaranjit Sen, I don't understand this. How is it that the police stands by, barricades are broken, a man walks through with a gun, shoots at people, and the police doesn't respond. 1 minute, sir. Now, can I please go across to my other panelist, Mr. Kakkad? I understand you feel for Delhi police.
Somebody has the gun.
I understand you feel for Delhi police, Mr. Kakkad, but I have to continue with this debate and go to my other panelist. I will tell you if you listen to me.
You have to continue because you have an agenda. You have an agenda, so therefore you will
My
say
agenda
what you
is
want
to question law and order in this country, yes.
I have to say. Okay.
As a citizen and a journalist, my agenda is to question
it
law
is
and order
one-sided.
and security
Your
of
agenda is
everybody.
one-sided.
I don't see Shaheen
just
Bagh different
one-sided.
from any other part of national capital. Mr. Swaranjit said, if the argument that is being given to us is that the police is tired, that day in, day out for 50 days, they have been standing there, should the Home Ministry not call in more forces? Mr. Swaranjit said, if the police is tired and they are overburdened and they are exhausted and they can't control men who roam around with guns, then should we not call for special forces? This is the national capital we are talking about.
Well, I'm glad that my dear colleague, a very respected officer, has given me a chance to speak. I am really, really surprised about the kind of stand he has taken in this whole affair. I am a Delhiite. I grew up in Delhi. I was born in Delhi. What was that Delhi? That Delhi also contained a very large population of every religious group, and never was it really polarized, except maybe in small pockets here and there. But here I find that there is a specific design to polarize the population and blame it on areas where you have predominance or maybe a substantially good population of a particular religious group. Is that what this particular election in Delhi and future elections in India are going to come to? I refuse to believe that the police is so incompetent as to not be able to deal with situations like this. And who is the police under? It's not under the Delhi government, it is under the central government. And who looks after the police? It is the whole central Home Minister and his team. So with a situation like this, if the very apex of police power cannot deal with this situation, then who can deal with it? I'm sorry to say, things have been allowed to drift, and not only that, ignited by various actions, by various inactions. And that is how we are facing such a terrible situation.
Okay.
I don't know what the future of Delhi will be, but it's not a place that I would like to live in if such is the attitude of the masses or the administration or the police or the central government. My Delhi was a beautiful Delhi. It is being systematically destroyed by what is happening.
No,
and I think we have to take a very neutral view of what is happening and not get polarized just because a certain power which is predominant is trying to create confusion and terror.
All sides will try to polarize. Essentially, despite the higher moral ground that any political party may want to take, they all resort to that. But my problem is with the institutions and authorities who are not supposed to be playing politics. And police and security forces is one of them. So, Anila Singh, if I take what Mr. Kakkad is telling us and say that they have been there day in, day out, they're doing their best for 50 days, they've been standing there, standing guard. If still there are men who manage to break through with guns, why doesn't the Home Ministry send additional forces? This is the national capital we are talking about.
Tanvi, your question is very correct. When you say that if police was tired, if police was exhausted, why didn't extra forces were sent there? But I need to understand one thing, that do we need a police who uses fists instead of wits, or a police which uses torture rather than culture? So we need to understand, like if we talk about all the 4 cases which happened in Delhi around Shaheen Bagh and Jamia, I mean, you just see it. Every time police has controlled it. The gentleman who is the ex-DGP, just now he was preaching that what type of government is governing in today's date and how the police has become a pawn in the hands of Home Minister.
That was a political
so let me ask
speech
you
by
one
my
thing.
friend.
When he became an officer, did he take oath in the name of some political... Sir, I did not talk over you. Sir, I did not talk over you. I did not talk over you. I had patience, so you also exhibit that. So I just want to know that did you take oath in the name of any political party, or you took the oath in the name of president or the governor, whatever? So let me tell you one thing, police is very independent. At that time also, when this person who was brandishing gun, and the journalists and the students, they all, they were yelling that this person has got gun in his hand. Ultimately, police controlled him. There is a way of action. Like if even in America,
how
if
are
you
these
call
people
911
getting into
and
crowd
you
with
tell
guns?
some sort of emergency.
I'm sorry,
they
I don't know why
they
you're not
don't
more,
get
more
hyper.
concerned. If I was living in Delhi, I would be very concerned.
In a jiffy.
How are these people
Tanvi,
turning
allow
up
me.
with
I
guns?
mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're sitting here, see, Delhi is not under some curfew. All right. So you cannot
people
say,
roam around with
how
guns
do I know?
openly?
These people might have been given weapons from the people who are supporting Shaheen Bagh protests.
To move with the
They
gun
might
everywhere.
have given them guns. They might have said that you go and create some sort of ruckus,
Correct.
as you had been creating earlier.
Could be. We wouldn't know. The police should tell us.
And the private and public properties. So you never know. So this is the point of investigation. So let the police investigate. You cannot say that these things, came from there, from that, and the gun was provided him by some.
You are saying that, and nobody else is saying it.
So let the investigation happen. But it is so easy. It is so easy to accuse the police. Police works day in and day out. Tanvi, I come from Uttar Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh had always been in the eye of storm whenever crime or law and order situation is being discussed.
Yeah, Anila Singh, on a lighter note,
They killed only 20 people point blank there.
Anila Singh, perhaps because
20 people point blank were killed there.
Perhaps because
That's
your
the police of UP.
because your benchmark is UP police, you don't see anything wrong. But honestly, I would hold the Delhi police to higher standards.
You should go and ask the.
Honestly, I would also expect Mr. Kakkar today to hold his police to higher standards.
I do not agree,
there is a limit
Mr.
of patience.
My dear anchor, I do not agree with you.
You can call me Tanvi.
have
If you don't, nobody is
decided
forcing you to
blame
agree, sir.
The police
Nobody.
and through police, the
But
government.
the conspiracy which is
Please.
going on
One
in
minute,
India,
Anila
it is
Singh, let
not-
Mr. Kakkar talk.
Please let
It
us
is
wait
not
for the
going to happen.
investigation.
We all know.
And there is no room for political speeches. There is no room for political speeches in such incidents. I find political speeches being made. If someone doesn't want to live in Delhi, well, don't live in Delhi. Live in a Delhi live in a place which is more peaceful. But everything possible is being done to maintain Delhi
What happens in election?
livable.
Why election you will be having a bhajan sandhya or what?
Be thrown out of India. Now, wow.
Yes, Mr. Bajpayee, what happened?
Doing bhajans, is there
Tanvi,
anything wrong in doing
a
bhajan?
farmer, now,
The
Are you ashamed of doing bhajan?
A protest is not a bhajan, madam.
now the very people,
In protest, what you do?
Nobody is
Now,
stopping you.
you do a satsang in bhajan.
Okay, one at a time,
What
please.
is
One at a time. One at a time. I'm increasingly
this is one
finding
of the
it
best-
very, very
this is one
difficult
of the
and
best
draining
shows.
to hold
this is
conversations
one of
on
the best
Delhi.
shows because you allow everybody
I
to
know
speak.
it's a hotly
Right,
contested
so-
Delhi battle, but
And
let's
there
show
is no
some
crosstalk.
civility here on this debate. Don't force me to put down the audio line of anybody. I don't like to do that. I also don't want 6 people speaking at one point of time. Now, go ahead, Mr. Deepak Bajpayee. What are you saying?
Yes. Tanvi, the bigger point here is that the very people who are responsible to maintain law and order situation in Delhi are the very people who are inciting the violence, who are making provocative speeches. You heard a central minister saying that go kill the traitors, right? Then you have, today in one of the TV shows on a national channel, I heard one of the frontline spokespersons of the BJP, Mr. Sambit Patra, saying, wake up Hindus or you will be cut into pieces. I call upon you to wake up or you will be cut into pieces. Then we have Pravesh Verma saying that these people will invade your houses, will rape your daughters and mothers, and they will kill them. These are the kind of speeches which are being made by people who are the very people responsible to maintain law and order situation in Delhi, which are being led by the Home Minister himself. Then after the shooting incident, when Mr. Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah comes out and says, I have spoken to Commissioner of Police and I have told him that such incidents will not be tolerated. What a commissioner is supposed to make out of it? They understand that they are reporting to their political masters, and these are the very people who are inciting violence, who are making provocative speeches, who are calling upon people to come out and shoot people whom they think they are traitors. Then I think we are mistaken. It is not only about the police, it is about the political masters who are controlling the government. So now the first thing, the bigger question here is that has India ever seen a government as irresponsible as this, whose Home Minister, sitting Union Minister, the local MP, all of them going out making provocative speeches, calling upon people to go and shoot. And then you see two young men coming out and firing at the crowd. Now, someone was saying, Mr. Kakkar was saying that, police was tired, and I heard BJP spokesperson saying that they were actually.
I never said that.
They allowed someone to fire at the crowd, and
I said they have been doing duties.
Acha,
I never said that they are tired.
Please don't talk over me. Sir, your term will come. I am saying that the BJP is so desperate. They are so desperate that by design, they are trying to provoke people of Delhi, people of the NCR to come and create trouble. And the result is that you saw two gentlemen coming out and shooting in the air and shooting at the crowd, risking lives of hundreds of people and journalists and policemen there. And police played a mute spectator. That's a very, very serious situation. It's national capital, sir. I am saying it's national capital. It could be a threat to my daughter, your daughter, or
Okay. So let me take this point. Let me take this point.
Will come and go.
Okay, so one of course is how we are questioning the role of the police and whether they are simply, inept, or if there is a pressure on them. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Deepak Bajpayee was just listing out a series of comments that have been made. I think you got into trouble for a lot less that you said, but in this case, there has not been any action by the police. Is there some kind of a bias that's visible?
Look, I don't know about the bias, but I'm just going to stick to what everybody else has said because I think we're getting a bit derailed. One is that the crime statistics of Delhi have gone through the roof in the last 2-3 years. All right. This is something that is very, very worrying, which does indicate police failure at some level. At the same time, statistically speaking, it's very dangerous to extrapolate 3-4 events or 6-7-10 events, whatever, into the larger crime statistic like this. That is not the way statistics works. I'd like to tell you that when your car brought me over to the studio, over the last 4 or 5 days, there's been a protest on the side of Nizamuddin, and that did not have the kind of security that I've seen it has been given in the last 4 or 5 days. So there has been police that has been deployed there to protect it additionally in the last 4 or 5 days. Next, remember, these people are badly trained, badly equipped, and both mental and physical fatigue. Delhi police haven't dealt with this kind of a long sit out in a very, very long time, right? Next, of course, you have the case that, when Arvind Kejriwal, apparently it's a derogatory term, I don't know, but he called them thullas some time back, he wasn't exactly terribly far from the truth. He was quite accurate in the sense that they're badly trained, they're badly motivated, they're badly paid. And since I've been at the receiving end of the Delhi police, I can tell you their understanding of the law, of procedure, of, process and things like that is quite atrocious. Even their understanding of law and order and how to implement it. They're not given a first principles training and all of that. And you must remember, Tanvi, we're a third world country with third world policing. We can't extrapolate first world policing models onto a third world country. And it's simply not going to happen. You want that kind of policing where each policeman understands freedom of speech or understands carrots and sticks in the application of violence. You have to pay them $40,000-$50,000 a year. They probably get 30,000-40,000 rupees a month maximum. I don't know how much they're paid, but it's definitely not compared to first world standards. Then again, we also need to see that, in the particular incidents, now I'm going to get into the micro detail of what you said. They went into Jamia and they did exactly what their bad training teaches them. They try to smash an egg with a hammer, right? Quite correctly, they get called out for it. And then what do they do at JNU? Nothing till at 7:45 p.m. They finally get the call from the Vice Chancellor, and even then, kuch hota nahi hai properly, right? This is a serial case of every time you do something wrong, there is some kind of pushback, and then they fear going in the next time round. This is the classic culture of scapegoating that the government does, that every time something goes wrong, somebody is scapegoated, sacked, and there is no systemic correction that's made to the whole thing. And obviously it's problematic, but then, you know, we can keep having debates and tamasha, and tamasha here has always been a substitute for government action historically. At the specific incident of the gentleman, the Kashmiri gentleman being injured in his hand, you know, that was a very, very serious case in my opinion of media breaking rules, of the police breaking rules, of everybody breaking rules. When you've got a dangerous man like that, I can tell you from a law and order perspective, he must be isolated immediately. The media should not have been allowed there. That Kashmiri gentleman should not have been trying to play the hero. I don't know what he was trying to do, use the press as a media shield or whatever. What were the media thinking going around chasing a nut job like that? If somebody is holding a gun at you, you know, the police should have also seen and pushed all these guys back. So I don't know what the exact dynamics are. I can tell you, sitting from where I've seen this thing up close, all the different angles, there was no single angle out there that was making sense to me. The net result that you can take away is the police are extremely badly trained. And, you know, we're having this debate today. We will keep having this debate 100 times over. And I can tell you it will all be just yak, yak, yak. They will never implement any kind of systemic solutions for it. It doesn't matter who's in power, the Congress, the BJP, AAP. There's just not the money for it. There is not the understanding for it.
Okay, so if I take this up, effectively, Ravi Srivastava, what Abhijit Iyer Mitra is saying, that it's not that they are biased because of any political pressure. They're just not trained enough and capable enough to deal with this situation over such a long period of time.
Tanvi, I got the last chance among the group to speak. Anyway, thank you very much for calling me. The fact is, I would not call, both the aspects are there. What Abhijit has said is the second part. The first part is that Delhi police has become fully politicized and it is behaving like a one political party, like AAP, BJP or Congress or SP or BSP or anyone you call. Except that this particular party is hand in gloves with the BJP, with the government. And that is clearly visible. It starts from the Shaheen Bagh protest when it started. It starts with the JNU when they were standing and letting out the ABVP goons under their protection. Clearly visible on the CCTV cameras there. It is clearly visible. Sir, can I please finish up? That is clearly visible when the guy was brandishing a gun on that Shadab Nazar and he fired. The police should have charged on him. Instantly they should have charged on him, on a single person. He was not a crowd. He was a man standing with the gun. The police should have charged on him. If you have seen any of these foreign films or anything, how police conducts. Now I come to Abhijit's point of view. He's right. They are not trained at all. They only know one service, that is to salute VIP and that is to provide an escort to a VIP. Other than that, they don't have any training as such. I'm sure about it. They do not know about the human values. They do not know about human rights. They do not know the freedom of speech. They do not know how to apply the sections. The sections are applied after people come and protest. No, this crime was also committed. Please, put up this dhara of IPC against this person. They have become so incompetent under the ruling regimes that they have forgotten altogether. I say, I'm personal experience, I am telling you, when I go to a police station, I say I will not talk to anyone other than an IPS officer or a DCP rank officer. Because below that, they are dumb. They are just told, you go and do it. They have got a stick in their hand, you go and do this. And those kind of people were only standing and manning over there. We go to Azad Maidan several times for doing dharna and all that. We are always frisked. that we are not carrying any weapon or any ammunition over there. What these guys are doing a service over there? Mr. Kakkad was saying they are very tired, they have been standing for 51 days on one leg, etc., etc. Why can't they do their basic policing over there? Why can't they frisk the people over there that who is entering with what on the in the particular ground? What kind of surveillance they are doing? I am a cyber law expert. One more point, 30 seconds only. I won't take much time. I am aware of there are AFRS, automatic face recognition softwares available. You can always identify the people. 69 people were, the fire was filed and only one person could be located. All deliberate, purposeful, the ABVP, BJP, Gorakshak, Bajrang Dal, goons, they are roaming around there and the police is just turning a blind eye towards everything.
But they have the facial recognition system. They made posters out of it. They made a collage of all the suspects of the Jamia violence. I don't know how many of them actually got arrested. Not too many for sure. Mr. Kakkad, would you want to respond to what the previous two panelists have said? The level of training, which you can't blame the Delhi police, but can something be done about it?
Yes. I have enjoyed the political speeches made by the gentlemen, but I don't stand educated by most of what they have said.
So-called political
police,
analysts.
As far as the training is concerned, of all the police forces in the country, Delhi police is perhaps one of the best as far as training goes.
Nazib is missing
You
for last
have to
3.5 years.
realize what sort of situations. Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, you have to understand what sort of situations Delhi police has to face. Delhi police has to face situations which no other police force faces in the country, because every time something or the other is happening, if there is somebody lynched in Hyderabad, the repercussions are in Delhi, and Delhi police has to tackle it. If there's something happening in Punjab, the repercussions are in Delhi, very much, because all the people who want to exploit those situations are in Delhi all the time. Having said that, in a case like this where he was brandishing the revolver and he fired one shot and hit somebody, you think when with so much of crowd, the Delhi police could have opened fire? If Delhi police had opened fire and the bullet had missed, it will kill somebody else. Don't compare Delhi police with the people of London or the police of London, where somebody who was caught on the bridge, he was pinned down and then shot dead by point blank shooting. You think anybody in India can do that, and will people tolerate? They will make a huge mountain of the whole thing, that when he was pinned down, why the poor man was shot dead. They are trigger happy. Nobody in London, not even the media, raised that issue even once. So don't compare. You compare the comparable. Our people are different, they are different. Our police is different, they are different.
Mr. Kakkad, you have given 100 excuses for police not doing their policing. I think that's the only thing you have said it.
I have not given excuses.
100 excuses you have given for not doing their work,
You are a political
which they are
person. You are
supposed to
making
do.
political speeches.
Okay.
I am not interested in. I am not
Tanvi, I just
interested
want to
in
get
your
away from the
listening to the
politics.
denigrating of the police.
Point.
Okay, getting
I am
away
not
from politics,
interested in your
says
denigrating
Abhijit.
the police.
Okay, Abhijit.
You have only one point. You call.
May I speak?
You say whatever you want to say against
Thank
the
you.
government.
So there are three.
Tanvi, can I come in?
Sir, may I please speak? Sir, may I please speak? Thank you. So I have just 3 points to make, Tanvi, and I'm sorry if I'm offending some of the
Why
other
do you want to
panelists, but the
speak,
first
Mr.
is
Abhijit?
politicization.
You have declared Indian police to be third class.
Unfortunately, in this country.
So shoot him.
Well, so what's your
Shoot him.
problem?
He should be silenced.
Let him make his point, please.
I'm
Let
not
him make
getting
his
into this
point.
lady's,
Yes.
little whatever. But anyway, politicizing.
He has
Remember,
already made his
all
point,
the Indian
Tanvi, and
police
I
service is
requested you.
politicized. It's a bit
But
like,
you didn't allow me.
Madam, I didn't talk over you. Please don't talk over me. It's bad manners. I don't know where you were brought up, but I was never brought up to talk over
I
other
really
people.
want to
Thank
talk
you.
over you.
First,
The way you have talked about Indian police.
Politicizing.
Shame on you.
That's the only word
Ma'am,
you
are
know.
you dumb?
That's the only word you know.
Really?
Okay. No. No personal remarks for anybody, please.
Shame on you too.
No personal remarks on anybody. I am not going to allow this. Anila Singh, I will come to you. Anila Singh, I will come to you. You may be very upset. Calm down. Have some water, Anila Singh. I will come to you. Abhijit, make your point without any personal remarks against anybody, please. No personal remarks, no derogatory comments against any panelist. Will not allow it. Abhijit, make your point.
There was a point about biometrics here. Remember, biometrics works as a system of systems. You can't have systems installed here and there, and that too they are used post facto after the crime has been committed. They only work pre facto if the person has a pre-existing record, and even that has to be based on a nationwide surveillance. Otherwise, it's patches here and there, and it doesn't translate into a comprehensive system. Third, there was a point made on policing within the cordoned off area. Let's call it the liberated zone, shall we? Because I can't go in there. The protesters, they've got their own organizers with their own walkie-talkies and metal detectors and all of that. And basically, the idea of police even going in there inside that liberated zone to police it is going to lead to some other kind of violence. So, there is limitations to what the police can do, and there is limitations to what can actually be done. There are hard operational limitations, which I can't see being overcome right now through a cash infusion or a training infusion, even over the next 10, 15 years at least, irrespective of the government in charge. That too, if the government decides to put some money into the situation.
Fair enough.
I have a point to make, Tanvi, on this.
Yes. 1 minute, Mr. Deepak Bajpai. Let Anila Singh make her comment, and then I will come to you, and then to Mr. Sen. Yes, Anila Singh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. When I was listening to Mr. Iyer Mitra and Mr. Srivastava, my blood was boiling.
Oh, very good.
I am a daughter of a police officer, and I know how police deliver its duty. When we talk about our Indian police, it is so easy to say, third world ka desh hai India, or India ki police third class hai. Just now, I saw Mr. Srivastava and Mr. Iyer character assassinating of police, of Indian police. I am really ashamed of these two people, and I think Mr. Sen must be very proud.
You're
the way
ashamed.
even he was talking about the police, about the Indian police. Let me tell you one thing. Day in, day out, any weather condition, police had always been there. They have never ever cared of their life, even if they have to face the mob. So, do not target police. Do not try to say that the police has been politicized. It is very easy to target. And let me tell you, Mr. Kakkar had so very well said that police controlled this boy who had gun in his hand. Otherwise, some major tragedy could have happened there. So, please do not target police. Police is doing its job. But the thing is, you guys are not going to talk about the people who are sitting there on the protest. And that protest is not for the CAA. That protest is for the Pakistanis. That protest is for the solidarity of the religion.
Madam.
And the political parties like
this is
Congress
utter
and
nonsense.
Aam Aadmi Party.
This is against CAA, NRC, NPR. Sorry,
Mind your
you
language.
cannot support Pakistan. Every time Hindustan touches this, you have no other idea. That's what is happening in Delhi. You do not know. You have Pakistan across the country. Are you aware? What Pakistan? Hindu, Muslim, Hindustan, Pakistan, Mandir, Masjid.
Ravi Srivastava is speaking. Let's listen to him.
Not even.
Yes. Mr. Ravi Srivastava, what are you saying? Everybody is yelling. I can't understand what you're saying.
I'm saying the lady is talking about everywhere is a Pakistan. It's a Pakistan. It's a peaceful protest. No violence has taken place among the protesters in last 51 days. And you are talking it Pakistan. There are all religion people are there who are protesting. How can you call it Pakistan? Are you obsessed with the Pakistan? That's your strategy everywhere. You want to divide India into two straight vertically. This is your deliberate attempt. And it will not succeed in Delhi, I can assure you.
Deepak Bajpai, yes, Deepak Bajpai.
Yes, my point
They
is
are
that
only
we are missing
communists
real
and
point.
the minorities.
Here the Home Minister are sitting. Oh, sir. Can I continue, please?
Yes.
Yeah, Tanvi, I am saying we are missing the point. The point is that the Home Minister of the country himself is inciting violence and provoking people. You have a Union Minister himself going out and saying that Goli Maro Salon ko. Now you have a sitting MP saying that these people will go and rape your women. Now today we heard Sambit Patra, who's the frontline spokesperson of the BJP, saying Hindus, please wake up, you will be cut into pieces. Is it not a crime? Shouldn't cases be registered against them for inciting violence and vitiating Delhi's environment? This is where it starts. It's a course. It starts with these comments, and then you see these people coming out brandishing guns and firing at people. So the problem starts there. And we are talking about professionalism of the police. Now the police is being controlled by Amit Shah himself, and he is the very person who's inciting the violence, who's leading these political leaders who are making these comments, and nobody is talking about that. We did not see any case being registered against any of these people. It is not EC's job. EC will look after how the poll is being conducted. It is a criminal act. Cases must be registered against them. They should be booked. They should be arrested.
Well, you know
now
what, Mr. Bajpai, the Election Commission,
which arrests people.
The Election Commission has its within its
Excellent,
powers,
Mr. Bajpai,
well
excellent.
within its powers, Mr. Bajpai, that the Election Commission
Excellent for
can
your
tell the
expertise.
police to file the FIR.
Excellent for your
But
expertise, Mr. Bajpai.
But instead, the Election Commission only
Tanvi,
banned these
that is
guys
right.
from campaigning.
But now for every... No, my point is different. No, Tanvi, you missed the point what I was making. I am saying, of course, EC can do that.
I got your point.
But I am saying for every case being registered, you don't need AC's permission. You are police, you can take a decision.
But the police is not going to...
Violence, you are supposed to go there, register a case and arrest the guy.
Yes. But
that's
if
what
only...
I'm saying. If you are calling, if you are saying that the police
is busy chasing Sharjil Imam and is now busy fighting his case in the court, Mr. Bajpai. They're already overburdened. Unless, what are you saying? Everybody heard you defend the Delhi police. We all heard that. Now, please, I'm completely out of time. I have one last question for Mr. Swaranjit Sen. Mr. Sen, my question to you is simply this. There are now hundreds of these protesters who have been sitting, Mr. Sen, for the past 50 days on the street. Now, the Delhi court has simply said that you should not cause inconvenience to other people, but the Delhi police shouldn't use force to end this protest, which is where we are stuck. So the protest goes on, and around it, all of this other, all of these other controversies and incidents are happening. What are the options with the law and order authorities in such a scenario?
See, I've been listening to the debates very, very patiently. And I must say we have two panelists who are extremely brave to defend the defenseless. The indefensive, sorry, not defenseless, indefensive. They seem to be frozen in a time frame which is perhaps 15 or 20 years ago when the police was efficient. And especially, one of the panelists will agree with me that during his time, he would not have tolerated the way the police has been behaving of recent past. You are talking about one person with a gun. What kind of gun was it? It was just a country-made revolver, a pistol, or whatever it is. And don't tell me that the entire police force, we couldn't find one person who was bold enough to go and seize this person. I refuse to believe it. As a police leader, I refuse to believe this. And I am ashamed that such a thing should have been allowed. A single person, when there's a huge contingent, what else do you want? And then you defend this thing. Now, as far as your question about peaceful protest, today nobody listens to a peaceful protest. Where is democracy? In a democratic system, if you make a peaceful protest, I would expect that the powers that be would come and try and neutralize the situation, understand the whole thing. Nobody has done that. Instead, fiery speeches, divisive speeches have been given by those persons who are actually concerned with running this country. What is happening in this country? I mean, I am very, very surprised that anyone should be defending the indefensible. They're stuck in a time frame which is probably 20 years ago when the police was really efficient. These days, in certain states, the police has slided and is going to slide more because more and more political interference is coming and the leadership is unable to control it, or they don't have the desire. Today, in police, we don't have leaders. We have managers. We have managers. Everyone tries to manage the situation instead of leading the people and leading the
I agree with you on that, Mr. Sen.
And setting an example.
Yes, and I always believe that,
we need leaders who can resist the pressures which are being put by the political bosses.
And I always believe, Mr. Sen, that the actions of any security force, police or otherwise, is going to be as capable and as good as their top leadership wants it to be. I will never blame the soldiers on ground, whether it's the police or any other security force. But it is up to the top leadership of our law and order authorities to ensure that they do their job, they don't fall in the trap of politics. Now, if they are incapable, that's a different matter altogether. And again, it's up to the top leadership to ensure that their men are fully trained and fully empowered to take action on ground. But just look at the sequence of events. First was the Jamia protest, where when things went violent, out of control, you saw the police crack down the way the police should crack down on antisocial elements. But then they barged into a university, and they barged into hostels, and they barged into libraries, and questions were asked if they had gone overboard. And so the police pulls back so much the next time that when in JNU, very clearly miscreants were unleashing violence on the campus, the police very nicely was simply standing outside while over 90 PCR calls were made. They didn't come in. Then comes the incident of a gun being brandished, the first time at Shaheen Bagh. Gun being used, then at the Jamia protest. And again a gun being used at Shaheen Bagh. Another allegation, the fourth one now under the scanner. Is the Delhi police really that inept? Or do they not want to because it's election season? Think about it, viewers. Completely out of time. On the other side, we're going to put focus on the government stand, the politics around Shaheen Bagh, the politics this Delhi election season. Stay with us.